Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another Blender tutorial where basically I show you some simple projects in order to learn Blender. And today we are going to learn about what a normal map does. So rather than showing you in Blender just to start off, I actually want to go ahead and jump here into a Paint app real quick called Calcai to basically explain what a normal is. So let's just say that this is the surface of an object. By the way, normal has to do with materials. But anyways, let's just say this is the surface of an object. Basically, let's pretend that this little red circle here was a ball, right? If I were to take this ball, and let's just say I were to throw it down at the ground, and let's pretend that this was a perfect 90-degree angle that I just drew here, right? The ball would hit the ground, and then the ball would bounce back up at this exact angle, assuming that I threw this down at 90 degrees and there are no other forces. Let's just assume there's no other forces in the world right now other than gravity. Okay, so there are no other forces in our world right now other than gravity, so no air resistance and none of that. And then basically I threw this ball down. What it's going to do is it's basically going to bounce exactly directly up. This vector, as it's known in physics, is called the normal force. Basically, it's a force that happens whenever an object hits a surface with a force. Basically, the the surface is going to make a new force in the exact opposite direction as the other force. So basically you get this. I think this picture explains it better than what I said. But basically this is called the normal in physics. And this is actually a really, really important thing because this is the idea of what is known as a normal map. And creating normal maps is such a big thing in game development. Really, really pay attention to this. So what is a normal map? Well, you see, if you don't know this, everything inside of Blender or inside of computers, whenever we make a color, basically every color is actually a vector. A vector is simply a group of numbers. And basically every color is one group of three numbers, where each number represents how much of a specific color we want in the main color. So basically what I can do here is I can say, well, I want 20% red, 10% blue, or 10% green, and then 10% blue. This is also known as RGB, and it's also the foundation of coloring for websites using a number system known as Hexadecimal. But basically, this vector or group of numbers here, specifically this vector of three numbers, will come together and describe a color. So let's come here and look at a color picker for an example. As you can see here, 255, by the way, on this wheel is all the way red. So as you can see, 255 is 100% red, 0% green, and then 0% blue gives me this color. This color right here is 0 red, about half green, and then all the way blue. And basically, this is how you can create pretty much any color on your color wheel here. This is actually how computers generate colors. So with this knowledge, right, this is known as RGB, let's talk about an optical illusion that you can then create with this. So again, let's just say this is our surface, right? Well, you see, it turns out that if you take a base color, let's just call it BC, and you overlay another, let's just say texture map, so TM for texture map, on top of it, you can actually subtract red, green, and blue from your initial base color to basically make something that looks like this, where basically you've added like blue to this point here, but you haven't actually manipulated the surface of the static mesh at all. All you've done is overlay a texture that adds blue in a specific area, and it creates an illusion of a bump. And thus, the normal now appears to be going this way, even though you haven't actually done anything. And this is what a normal map does. A normal map creates bumps or extra detail to a material to create the illusion of grooves, bumps, and edges on the surface of any given static mesh. So basically, rather we're back in Blender now. Rather than me coming here and doing, E to extrude, S to scale to create various bumps and grooves in my texture, what I can actually do is I can come here and I can go into my shader graph and we'll make this a wood texture. As from before, I'm going to come here and add a texture coordinate like so. I'm going to select this object right here, and we're going to go ahead and grab the object, drag this into a mapping vector just like last time. And now I'm going to go ahead and add a noise texture. Noise, by the way, in programming simply just means a randomness algorithm. It's an algorithm that creates computer-generated randomness. And now I'm going to drag the color node here into the bump node, just like so. And this is going to go into the height map. Now, when I plug this in, watch as I plug this into the normal here, watch as this generates a whole bunch of bumps and grooves on the surface here. And now I can come here and start to adjust the color of this to be somewhere like here. Let's get kind of like a browner color. There we go. And if I start to distort this, the scale, I can create the illusion of like a fine wood material. And this right here, you see all these little bumps and grooves? All of that is an illusion created by adding to the normal map. So if we actually looked at what this looked like, it actually looks like this. And basically what I'm doing is I'm taking this map, or excuse me, let me be more specific here. It doesn't look like that. It looks like this. Give it a second to render. So there's your normal map. This is basically what it looks like. And basically I'm taking this texture and overlaying it with this color here. And when you overlay them, basically you get something that looks like this. And that is how you can create a simple wood material in Blender. And basically the idea of this project was to learn how a normal map is used. So there you go. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments and I'll see you in the next one.